Yo, what's going on, snipers? And it is NHL 26 deep dive time for Be a Pro this time around, which I'm very excited about. I have not seen this trailer yet. I've obviously tested Be a Pro before, so I know what's in the mode and all that type of thing, but I wanted to give you guys my reaction to this trailer and also give you guys some information about what I am seeing in this trailer alone as well. If you want to see the actual full trailer itself without me talking over it, there will be a link in the description, so go check that out. Without further ado, let's get into this trailer and see what they have to show us.
What's going on, everybody? Craig McMorris here. I am psyched that EA Sports has invited me to get into the nitty-gritty about Be a Pro in NHL 26. Who better do that with than North Vancouver's very own Macklin Celebrini.
Oh, they actually have a Celebrini for this trailer. That's interesting.
Seen an update like this in some time. All new presentation elements, refreshed storylines, characters, challenges.
Yeah, a lot of cool new things, which obviously we'll go through afterwards.
Will impact your career as you try to go from rookie to superstar. With more on that, let's go to
love that they're showing the mammoth and stuff like that.
Love some good old pricey pond hockey, but it was due time
of course, they had to shout out pricey pond hockey like they did on Twitter. It's funny.
NHL 26 is in its presentation. There are a grip of
a little bit of a shot at the community a bit, but not fully.
Which really elevate the mode and story at large.
Hey, congrats on making the roster. This is a huge accomplishment.
They actually had Macklin Celebrini as a freaking voice actor too. That's a little bit strange. Not gonna lie, that seemed a little bit cringe just because he's obviously not a voice actor, but
celebrating with the Stanley Cup in that dressing room. These new visuals immerse you in the drama and storytelling of a superstar NHL journey. One of the new additions we're really excited about are the new media scrums, where, depending on how you play, you'll either get your flowers.
Yeah, this type of stuff is pretty fun. I'll talk more about it in a little bit. Kind of gives it more of that feel from NHL 14, from Live the Life or whatever it's called.
We heard the community and we took action. Be a Pro in NHL 26 is a completely reimagined experience.
Yep, the UI is completely new too, which I like. I like UI, a good UI. Like this UI, just chef's kiss. It's awesome. I'll talk more about that too soon.
The story begins in the semifinals of the World Juniors, where
World
you
Juniors.
create your character, pick your nation, and your performance dictates your NHL draft position.
Still got a couple more minutes left of this. Looks
immerse
like.
yourself in the emotion of the draft and your first NHL game as you dive into your rookie year, the chase for the cup, and if you can
nice
pull
little
it
toe
off,
drag.
a Hall of Fame worthy career.
Once I was dressed and everything, I was just so excited to start playing. I still remember going out for the rookie lap, looking around the arena, like it was kind of like a moment where it hit me.
What we wanted to make sure we foregrounded in Be a Pro was the emotion of the pro hockey journey, both the highs and the lows, and that comes through in how you carry yourself off the ice, in front of the media, and in your performance.
Yeah, look, it was a good old generic head that everybody has.
Big and small, that impact your playthrough. To that end, your performance affects your progression from chapter to chapter. Play well and get bumped up to the starting line, and bask in the adoration of the fans and the media. Underperform, and you'll stay put on the bench, face pointed questions from the press, tough talks with management, and even a trip down to the AHL.
Yeah, AHL as well, which is awesome to see that it's returned. I don't know why it ever left, to be honest, but alright. Pretty good little trailer there, only a couple minutes long, but let's break this thing down. So let me remove my face so you guys could actually see everything fully. Didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do that either. How do I remove my face from the screen? Oh yeah, right here. Perfect. Okay, let's go all the way back to the beginning of this trailer breakdown, it like frame by frame, so to speak. So obviously a big thing, a lot of new like kind of cutscenes with like tunnel walkouts, as you can see in the very beginning here with this guy on Utah, or on the Mammoth, I should say. And then obviously they kind of flip through this part a little bit on the quicker side of things. It shifts from obviously him being a World Juniors with the US team to all of a sudden with the London Knights with the Memorial Cup. And then obviously you shift to him winning a Stanley Cup in Utah, which is pretty cool. Obviously that's like how NHL careers are, basically. Obviously I kind of would like to see them throw in maybe an AHL part into that, but obviously there would be AHL cutscenes when you win championships if you're, I guess, in the AHL when that happens. Not too sure. But so there's that. Obviously you get some in-game footage and stuff like that. And then obviously this doesn't matter too much. You get some more shots on goal, so to speak. We don't really care about that, obviously, though. Then obviously it flips between some more random camera angles and also the media scrums, which we get to in a little bit. as that's later in it. So yeah, there's presentation elements, there's storyline, and consequences. Obviously, presentation elements being more like, obviously, like the awards getting shown here with the dude, random like things where you have your first lap and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome, that stuff. Storyline, obviously, a little bit more things that you have to try and achieve. Obviously, you could be sent to the AHL. You could be, obviously, moved up in the lineup if you're playing good. Then you also have your consequences, which I guess technically getting sent to the AHL would be a consequence. I don't really know how far in depth that goes, but there's obviously some drawbacks as well if you aren't playing the best. So after that, you get kind of like a little thing that's kind of similar to, I guess, technically what the new UI is like. So you have like a skim over this like random headline that they made, and then you have more gameplay related stuff, obviously, that we've seen before. This is pretty cool. I really do like these cutscenes. Obviously, when you win a Stanley Cup, which I haven't won a Stanley Cup in Be a Pro in a while, but anyways, I really like these like cutscenes where it shows you in the locker room with all your teammates hoisting the Stanley Cup, because it just makes that cup win feel a little bit more personable. Because obviously, prior to this, you would win the Stanley Cup, you'd see the same old celebration where you see obviously the players skate around with it. You'd see the team photo, but you don't get these type of cutscenes very often. So to have a cutscene where it's actually in the locker room like that is pretty cool, and obviously you're front and center with that. Then obviously they'd have to talk about pricey pond hockey, because obviously that's what Be a Pro is like for since NHL 21, I guess, because I think that's when I actually did a Be a Pro series last. Speaking of, obviously I will be doing a Be a Pro series this year, so if you guys want me to do a Dave Bluzinski one from my Discord, or if you guys want me to do a Sniped on Score one, let me know. I might do a straw poll and link it in the description or something like that as well. But I do want to do a Be a Pro series this year, alongside a normal franchise mode, or not a normal franchise mode, a Draft to Glory franchise mode, I should say. Aside from that, you do have this challenge screen, which obviously you can see the thing that this person had to try and achieve, make the team swagger, which I think basically the swagger part is dependent on your answer. So I would say swagger or whatever the other ones are. I can't remember what the other ones are, but it says make the team anyways, part 2. So basically to make the team, he had to advance to game 7 of the season. He had to maintain a form score of 80, which means basically when you play, obviously if you're not playing good, your form score drops off a little bit. If you're playing good, your form score will go up. So this person had an 85 out of 80, and then he also scored 9 out of 2 goals. So you could definitely see he overachieved the goal scoring department. So once we pass this, let's see what else we got shown in this. Obviously, I can only talk about stuff shown in this, which I think is most of things, if I'm not mistaken. You got another tunnel walkout with the actual Golden Knights theme, which is pretty cool. So love to see that. You also got a little bit more stuff in his first game in Dallas. And obviously you got the World Junior stuff with like the anthem and stuff like that, which you love to see that. Do I see the person in there that he made? I don't think so. Also, shout out to the United States in this game, because it's kind of funny because since they don't have the licensing, obviously, to the real U.S. prospects, all the players that would be on your U.S. World Junior team are generated guys, I think, as well. So you will play with random people like this Corson dude who's obviously not real. Pretty sure it's like that. Then obviously it's swapped over to like Sweden too. Love to see it. Shout out to the Swedes out there. And then this part, though, which is I didn't really even realize when I was playing. I guess it depends if you're a San Jose Sharks player or not, but Celebrini as a voice actor is kind of a little bit weird. Obviously, it makes sense because it's kind of cool to have real players make their own voice appearance and stuff. But obviously, Macklin Celebrini probably was just reading off a script, and it probably doesn't sound the best, but it's still kind of cool to have that in the game. And like I was mentioning with the other things prior to like the goals and all that, you can see it's a swagger, humble, and confident. So basically, yeah, those are all different type of answers. You can see swagger has more brand likability, humble affects your teammate likability, and I think confident, what does it impact? Or can I see it? No, I can't see that. I can't remember what it impacts, but something. You also have more cutscene stuff from the World Juniors, of course. You have you getting drafted, which is cool. Love that they actually have now a nice little thing where it shows you walking out, getting a photo with the commissioner, even though that looks nothing like Gary Bettman. So you have that good old Joe Smith going to the Islanders, 18th overall. You have also your first time getting to that NHL team. So it looks like this guy just met Connor McDavid, because that might be Connor McDavid right there. Tough to say. but I think that's probably likely who it is. And then obviously this is probably like Draisaitl, but this is when you show up to your NHL team, you get to meet like the best players on that team. It kind of sucks that they don't have like voice actors for all of them, but it kind of makes sense because not every single NHL player is going to want to record their voice for this. So there's that. You obviously have some more tunnel walkout stuff, so it looks like somebody is like dapping up Mikey Anderson, also winning another Stanley Cup with the LA Kings. And then I don't know who that is. Is that another... That's a real player, right? Oh yeah, it definitely is, because this is definitely a generated player named Voss, so this is probably a real player. I just can't tell who it is based on the face scan. But it looks like you get to see all your teammates with celebrating a little bit too. I get to see Quinton Byfield briefly right here. Actually, can I get it back to that point? Oh yeah, you see him right there. So there's Quinton Byfield, Kopitar, a lot of Kings players. I don't know what year that would be in, but probably relatively early. Then you advance to here. You got obviously your stuff somewhat with media scrums is showing kind of. And you can see at the beginning of Be a Pro, obviously you could set if you're setting yourself to a power forward like this person is, obviously you have to choose between like different answers and it'll give you more attributes to those areas. So you can either go with a more aggressive endurance based approach or a durability body checking approach, and it'll impact your ratings a little bit based on the conversation early in the mode. Aside from that, we'll advance to there. It looks like he chose that one, and you can see it gives that boost. Then you also have this thing, which I guess there's legacy-like ability, which I don't know when this is. This might be later in the mode, my guess, but you could have things that affect your legacy, which is kind of cool. You have also a health one, so obviously a lot of questions. Also, the media does have voices too. Obviously, it's like not a lot of different media voices, but you do hear somebody. I don't know if it's just a voice actor or if it's a real person. That is actually an analyst or something like that. I honestly don't know. And then you have some more things with like stuff approaching here, which if we pause it, yeah, you see brand likability, line score, management, more brand likability, teammate likability, X Factor points, more money. That's an interesting one. So yeah, you could still use your money towards stuff like cars and stuff like, I think you could do that in NHL 25. So there's that. Then you have the storyline stuff like I was mentioning before too. This is the new UI, which will actually go to a full out version, so I can show you guys everything from a whole like this. This is the full new UI for Be a Pro. So obviously you have play next game, sim to the end of the chapter, sim games and stuff like that. Kind of the same type of UI system as there is in franchise mode. So you can skim through all these options. You have your calendar down here with the grudge matches and all that, which is pretty cool. Also, I kind of do like how it's showing the form score right here too. I didn't even realize that. So looks like this game against Seattle, he played good. His form went up. And in this game against Utah, he didn't play the best, so his form went down a little bit. Also, you do have a graph here, which obviously you could cycle through other things, but it does show his form score, basically starting all the way up here, going all the way down, and making its way around. You also have the headlines, of course, the main headline. And also you do have your challenges right here as well. You can see he has to sim to game 24, maintain a 75 form score, and get 16 shots on goal over those games. Aside from that, there's more X Factor stuff, equipping your X Factors when you unlock some, as you can see. Aside from that, there is also this part, which every single week you basically get energy points. And there's also, you can see trade points and X Factor points. So you can use X Factor points towards more X Factors, trade points towards upgrading your attributes. And then your energy points you put into this every week, where basically you can put your brand getting up there, management, your teammates. You can make your health better. Like your health might be all the way down here. So to make it not risk of an injury, you could always upgrade this so it's more higher up, so then you don't get injured as much. Trade points, X Factor points. So pretty cool. Aside from that, you advance over here, you can see more World Junior related stuff, of course, Sweden and Finland. And obviously when you're creating your person, you could set your World Junior nationalities. So you could do Germany, Finland, Sweden, US, Canada, those type of teams. I don't know, I remember how many teams. I feel like they have probably every team. I just didn't cycle through all that. But shout out to Anders Kowalski, which sounds like a Polish name. but it looks like he's sending it to Germany. So you got some more little stuff like that. You have another cutscene from the draft of you walking up as a Vancouver Canuck. There's Anders Kowalski going 15th overall. Also, note, you can get drafted later than the first round. I've been drafted before, like round 3. It is possible to go outside of the first round. So it depends on how you're playing, I guess. And also you have more tunnel walkout stuff again, of course. Some nice little moves there by the Sharks. And then also, I guess you do have award ones as well, cutscenes, like as I was mentioning earlier. I haven't seen this stuff yet because I've never gotten that far, but cool to see that there's actually like an award thing where I guess you get your awards. Maybe you have a press conference about your awards. I'm not too sure. But cool to see that he won the Maurice Richard. We'll advance up here. Another tunnel walkout, walking through the Shark, which they did tease that on Twitter the day before the day I'm recording this, so the day before the actual deep dive. So there's that. We'll advance a little bit past some more gameplay where Celebrini was talking over doing his first lap. And then you have the consequences, which I mentioned is like getting sent to the AHL and all that. But there's the hype about winning Stanley Cups, having some dull moments in the NHL too, meeting, like I said, your first teammates, of course, like Quinn Hughes, which is pretty cool. More media scrums with the generic face, which is funny to see that generic face still in the game. There's that. And yeah, as you can see, like the challenges, looks like he's failing some of the challenges. So since he's failing challenges and all that, that's probably why he eventually gets demoted to the AHL. I'm not too sure. I guess it was the Sharks guy that they showed in the AHL, not the Vancouver guy. But you do have conversations still with like the GM and stuff like that. As you can see, the GM does have also a voice actor. And then it says, end conversation, I'm still not happy here, but whatever. So I guess you eventually could, like, get yourself dealt and stuff like that. I'm not too sure. I haven't been that far. But then obviously it says roster moves, Cromwell assigned to the AHL. So I guess he got assigned to the AHL because of that. And you can see he was playing down with the Barracuda. So nice to play in the AHL, obviously, because it hasn't been in the game, I guess, in a while where you can play in the AHL. I just kind of like it, building your way up and not just being an NHL player right off the gate. Like, obviously, there's going to be competition and all that, so it's kind of good to have yourself play a little bit in the AHL at least before you make your NHL debut. It looks like this part, though, they did mention about stuff with, like, retirement stuff. I'm guessing at the end of the mode, I've never been to the end of a Be a Pro mode before. Looks like they must have some sort of a press conference thing. Joe Smith must have retired. It looks like they might be putting up a banner or something like that, just kind of like a press conference about it. I doubt they actually put a banner into the to the rafters, but looks like they're retiring his number and all that. You probably give a press conference about your retirement, something like that, my guess. And then that's basically, I think, everything that's shown in the trailer. Yep, that is it. So I'd say a pretty good little trailer there. Obviously, a little bit of a shorter one. I would prefer if maybe they ran down things a little bit more, but 3 minutes and they showed a lot of info, I think, if you slow it down at least. So I hope you guys are excited for Be a Pro this year. I'm very excited for it. Like I said, I will be doing a series on it, which I haven't done in 5 years, so it'll be interesting to do some actual gameplay videos alongside of, obviously, our franchise mode that we're going to be running. So let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.